U.S. farmers are regretting their vote for Donald Trump after their business suffers. Womp womp. Since China implemented their tariffs, farmers are suffering because soybean farmers, especially in the Midwest, are not being able to export as much as they're used to. I wonder why. Yet they voted for him anyway. They voted for him about 2 or 3 times, actually. I don't know how you thought voting for him would help you in your business when creating tariffs will probably hurt you. And he's said he's going to do this multiple times. But, another example of Americans thinking that other parts of the world need them the most. Brazil is the #1 soybean import for China. They don't need the U.S. Brazil is steadily increasing the production year after year after year, while the U.S. has remained stagnant. And y'all thought Donald Trump getting in office will help y'all? You put somebody in office who directly hinders your business. I need these people to take a survey so I can understand why they make the decisions that they do. But again, womp womp. You put somebody in office because of reasons, and now you're paying the price because of those same reasons. You just thought they wouldn't affect you.
In a surprising turn of sentiment within Donald Trump's once loyal base, many MAGA supporters are expressing frustration and anger over what they now see as a betrayal on one of Trump's key promises, tariffs. For years, Trump championed tariffs as a way to make America great again, insisting that China and other foreign countries would foot the bill. He repeatedly told his supporters that tariffs were a way to punish foreign nations and bring jobs back to the U.S. But now, as the economic impact becomes clearer and prices for goods continue to rise, some of his most ardent backers are beginning to feel duped. "I believed him when he said China was paying for it," said one lifelong Republican voter from Ohio. "Now I find out it was us all along. That's not what I signed up for." The truth, of course, was always more complicated. Tariffs are taxes on imports paid by American companies, not foreign governments. These costs often trickle down to consumers, hitting working and middle-class Americans the hardest. Economists warned of this from the start, but many in the MAGA movement were reassured by Trump's confident rhetoric and combative tone toward global competitors. Now, with inflation still biting and manufacturing jobs not returning at the scale promised, the realization is setting in. Trump's tariff war may have done more harm than good. Farmers struggled under retaliatory tariffs. U.S. companies faced higher costs. And the trade deficit, another favorite Trump talking point, actually grew during his presidency. Social media forums once filled with praise for Trump's economic policies are now seeing growing threads of dissent. "We got played," one user posted on Truth Social. "He sold us a dream and gave us the bill." For some, it's a bitter pill to swallow. Many still support Trump for cultural or ideological reasons, but the cracks in the economic narrative are starting to show. The MAGA movement, once united under simple slogans and bold promises, is now grappling with the consequences of policy choices that didn't deliver as advertised. As the 2024 election cycle heats up, Trump may find that the base he once held in a firm grip is now asking harder questions and demanding real answers.
Farmers who voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump state they now face financial ruin because of Donald Trump and his tariffs and are asking for a bailout using our tax dollars. To that I say, no. This is absolutely ridiculous. I know you guys understand how to grow corn and shit, but maybe you should have spent a little more time growing a fucking brain, because this is exactly what happened last time. He put tariffs on China, the farmers got hurt, and they needed a bailout. And that here you guys are again with amnesia, voting for him again. There's that one soybean farmer you may have seen. He's like, "I voted for Donald Trump 3 times because of his policies, but I need him to stop this right now because it's hurting us." Yeah. Do you not, fool me once? Shame on you. I don't know what to say to these people. It's like they have just, like I said, amnesia. They have short-term memory loss because they cannot remember that Donald Trump took them to the brink last time, and this time it's even worse. He's putting these tariffs just blanket style, and places like China are cutting off American agricultural products, and it's going to crush soybean farmers, people who grow corn. Like, that's a huge thing for where I'm from in Indiana, corn and soybean. That's what our state relies on. That's a huge agricultural crop for us. And farmers in Indiana, I'm sure, overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. And now you want to look to the government? You want to look to socialism and government handouts to bail you out? Like, I don't understand, farmers. You want to get down on everybody else needing services, asking for services to help them live their daily lives. And then you're going to look to the government again in less than 7 years for another bailout? Another bailout? Like, damn, how many chances do you need? If it's not working, you need to close business. That's called capitalism, right? Isn't that what you guys freedom-loving guys love? Is capitalism? If you can't survive on your own, it's not capitalism anymore. Why are we having to subsidize all of your farms all the time? After you voted for it, you fucked around. You need to find out. You can't keep putting your hand on the stove, wondering why you got burned, and then asking the people to give you the ointment and the bandages. That's not how it works. You sold us all down the river, so jump on the boat and join us, because I don't feel like helping you out. Is it going to have a huge impact if farms go under? Yeah, I understand that. Same thing with the auto industry, why they had to be bailed out. I get it. The travel industry, airlines, things like that. But damn, guys, like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, right? Isn't that the theory? Isn't that your motto? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps? Where are you, farmers? You're supposed to be all country strong. Get your shit together. Quit voting for Donald Trump like a bunch of dumb fuck chuckleheads. God damn it. What is your problem?
As the disappointment deepens, cracks are beginning to form not just in Trump's economic narrative, but in the MAGA movement itself. What once felt like an unshakable political force now shows signs of fragmentation, as disillusioned supporters question whether their loyalty has been taken for granted. In battleground states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, places where Trump's tough talk on trade once resonated powerfully with blue-collar voters, there's growing unrest. Some voters who switched from Obama to Trump in 2016 say they now feel misled. "I trusted that he was fighting for us," said a former steelworker in western Pennsylvania. "But all I see are higher prices at the store, higher costs for my tools, and no real change in my community. Where's the win?" Even some conservative commentators and influencers, once loyal megaphones for Trump's policies, have begun quietly acknowledging the economic fallout. On podcasts and YouTube channels, discussions are emerging around the long-term damage of the trade war, not just in terms of costs but credibility. One notable conservative blogger wrote, "We were told tariffs would rebuild our economy. But what we got was inflation, isolation, and broken promises. If that's America first, then maybe we need a new definition." Behind closed doors, GOP strategists are worried. The risk isn't just that some MAGA voters may sit out the next election, it's that a growing sense of betrayal could fuel division within the party. Primary challengers are already sensing an opportunity, subtly drawing distinctions between rhetoric and results as they pitch themselves as more pragmatic, less performative conservatives. Meanwhile, Trump continues to double down, refusing to admit any missteps. In recent rallies, he has even tried reframing the tariff legacy as a necessary sacrifice, claiming he laid the groundwork for future economic strength. But the crowds aren't as loud, and the applause doesn't hit quite the same. The question now is, how far can disappointment stretch before it snaps? The MAGA base, once energized by bold slogans and promises of retribution against global elites, is beginning to realize that slogans don't pay bills. And for a movement built on the promise of winning, the cost of losing, even just economically, might be the biggest betrayal of all.
Why did you vote for Trump?
Well, I voted for Trump because I didn't really like the whole Biden administration because it presented weakness.
Okay, so what specifically about the Biden-Harris administration presented weakness?
Well, just that, they wanted to help everybody they could.
So you think, okay, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Did Jesus want to help everybody that he could?
Well, I don't really know if Jesus was actually alive. Can't prove that.
You just said that you were a Christian.
Well, yeah, that's what I align with.
So if you're a Christian, that means that you believe Jesus was alive.
Well, I believe in what I know for a fact.
So then you wouldn't be a Christian.
Then I guess I wouldn't be a Christian.
I'm so sorry. You're just racking my brain. This is hell for me. Do you guys see what I go through with some of these guests?
MAGA regret is a trend. And just like buyer's remorse, I anticipated that this would happen. There was no way that people willingly made this decision and they were actually fully educated in their decision. They considered all options. They considered all possibilities. They considered the impact that this could potentially have. Or they even glanced at 2025, Project 2025. They didn't. And so some of this was about, and so I get it. Do I feel like the government entity as a whole might not always benefit the American people? Yes, I do think that. Do I feel like sometimes politicians trump regular average people like me and you? Yes. Do I think that people attach themselves to the idea and concept of the fact that a billionaire could potentially run America better than politicians? Yes. And I think that what people did was attach themselves to the dream that they could potentially have access to that amount of money, that they could potentially get into this environment where Trump was going to change the status quo of how we live, how we eat, how we breathe, how we operate as a country, and how the government operated specifically. I think that he led with that because that was the emotional appeal that he could attract so many different people. Even after he disrespected so many different nationalities, said so many different offensive things, has been in very compromising situations when it comes to women as well. Y'all still voted for him. And so now I'm starting to see all these videos that are, it's like a trend where it's like MAGA regret. And so there's all these people that are going through the reasons why they are regretting voting for Donald J. Trump and how they didn't understand that whatever decision making he was going to make, that it would impact things that are so closely related to what they need, what they depend on, what they do on a daily basis, maybe even their employment, their livelihood, the employment, livelihood, and dependency of their loved ones, whatever it is. I stand in solidarity with the 92% and say, we told you so. And the thing that I'll continue to say and scream to the mountaintops until I can't say it anymore is the hate of the Black woman is so strong that you will willingly sign up to jeopardize your livelihood, your normalcy, the livelihood and normalcy of so many other people, your ability to live comfortably. You would give all that up versus allowing a Black woman to be in charge. The funny thing about all of this is America knows it more than anything that Black women are the most powerful people on this planet. And the problem with that is if we allow the Black woman in the White House, we empower Black women across the world to stand flat-footed, take charge, and start running things everywhere. We'll start to see a movement. We'll start to see Black women rising up in all types of leadership positions. We'll start to see those timid Black women, they'll find their voice. They'll find their power. They'll find their strength. But they don't want that to happen. That's a movement that they want to prevent as much as possible. But 92%, I know we got something brewing. I know it's coming. Just wait and see, babe.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. Absolutely. Did I know he was going to increase the tariffs? Yes, I did. However, I thought that the infrastructure would be set up prior for small business to come back to America and manufacture.
Why did you think that? What possible evidence could you have based that thought on?
So after all the hats, chants, and big beautiful promises, the MAGA crowd is left holding the receipt. Literally. Turns out, when Trump said China's paying for it, what he really meant was surprise. It's you folks. Now, some of his biggest fans are waking up like it's the morning after a bad infomercial, wondering why their wallets are empty and the miracle product didn't deliver. The tariff master plan? More like a made-in-China disappointment. And as the red hats fade and grocery bills rise, one thing's clear. Sometimes the art of the deal is just the art of the con. For more spicy political truth bombs and stories they don't want you to hear, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell right here on Orbit Point. Because in a world full of noise, we bring the signal. Stay sharp. Stay Orbit Point.